The movie begins with a breathtaking sunrise scene. A large hen appears to be gathering eggs for Easter. The hen, Gerda, is really excited for Easter. Meanwhile, there is a group of rabbits who seem to be really excited about something. There's a stunning golden egg in front of them. It is surrounded by various leaves, which happen to glow every once in a while. Each leaf is assigned to a rabbit, and the one whose leaf glows the brightest is chosen as the master rabbit. Out of several rabbits, only 4 are chosen to become the master rabbit. One of the such chosen rabbits has no idea that he's been selected as one of the chosen ones. He receives this news via a letter from the Rabbit Academy. As soon as he learns about it, he is overjoyed, and without noticing, walks right past the Shockwave Rabbit live stream video. The Shockwave Rabbit gang happens to be a group that pulls daring stunts. Just as they're filming their new video, it gets ruined when a bubble pops on the phone camera. The gang's live video gets ruined because of a little girl blowing bubbles in front of their camera. The Shockwave gang becomes furious because of this. The little girl timidly apologizes and says that she is going to leave, but the gang's leader, Leo, doesn't let her because she ruined his live stream. That's when Max, the chosen rabbit, assists the little girl before taking Leo's bike and driving away. As he is riding the bike through the woods, someone suddenly appears in front of him. It seems to be a different rabbit named Emmy. Emmy is also one of the chosen master rabbits. Together, they flee deeper into the woods. The scene then shifts to a gang of foxes plotting to take over Easter. One of the little foxes plans a trap to get the Easter eggs, but that's when his mother steps on it and destroys the trap altogether. Just as they're about to leave, they notice 2 rabbits laughing and running around. They are none other than Max and Emmy. 2 of the foxes begin to pursue them. Seeing this, Max helps Emmy onto his bike. He speeds up the bike, and so the 2 of them ride away. As they're trying to escape, another rabbit who lives in a treehouse looks down with his telescope and sees them being chased by foxes. He rushes towards the gate of the Rabbit Academy and opens it just in time for Max and Emmy to enter, barely surviving. There, Max gets scolded by the old rabbit, Mr. Fitz, for being reckless. Max then asks their leader, Madam Hermione, what it takes to be an Easter rabbit. She responds by telling him all about the other rabbits' abilities, making Max envious and determined to do his best. The scene then shifts to Leo, who happens to be in the middle of a mountain, texting his teammate to see if their drone is ready. His teammate replies by telling him that it's not ready. Leo becomes furious and takes a few steps back while yelling at his team. Just then, he falls into a hole after activating a trap set by the foxes. After capturing a rabbit, the foxes emerge from their hut and examine their dinner for the evening. Much to Leo's dismay, they take him in and decide to turn him into soup. That's when Leo notices a drawing of an Easter fox and asks if they want to be Easter foxes. The foxes reply that they want to, and so Leo tells them he can assist them. After that, they all make a deal and plan to get the Easter eggs. Back at the academy, Emmy seems to be happy. She hums a song and goes to the location of the golden egg. There, she skips and frolics around happily until her joy fades. She suddenly screams for help when the golden egg in front of her starts to turn black. Everyone rushes in and starts to panic. In an attempt to make things right, Max tries to wipe it away, but is unsuccessful. According to Madam Hermione, if the Easter egg ever turns black, it means that Easter is under attack. Seeing that they're in trouble, Madam Hermione informs all of the rabbits that their abilities are desperately needed at this time. Following that, they start training really hard. Max even attempts to use the Disappearious spell, but miserably fails at it. All of the rabbits are shocked at that, but continue on with their training. They then attempt to put a wooden egg that they have used as a prop into the weather vane against Mrs. Hermione. They are almost successful at it, but Max just ruins everything. Because of this, all the rabbits are upset with him. Max pleads for forgiveness and asks for a second chance. Meanwhile, the foxes become successful in infiltrating the egg factory, where all of the eggs are produced. They sneak in with the help of Leo, and the little fox there instructs his brother and father not to pick up any eggs. But they don't listen to him and just begin stealing the eggs. When the rabbits notice that the egg factory has been compromised, Emmy and Max go to investigate. The foxes spot them and prepare to attack, but Madam Hermione suddenly appears, and they all begin fighting. The foxes somehow manage to escape. They tie a rope to a rock and slide down from it. After that, they pull the rope down, which in turn closes their exit. However, some other rocks fall down as well. This causes an ancient stone graffiti known as the Power Booster to reveal itself. Suddenly, the entire cave begins to rumble, and they all flee. Unfortunately, Madam Hermione injured her leg. While the foxes return home, one of them notices Leo talking to someone. He sneaks up behind Leo and listens in on the conversation. That's when he overhears Leo discussing smashing the Easter eggs rather than helping them. The fox takes this opportunity to steal the phone. He then goes to his mother and tries to show her the voice recording, but accidentally clicks on the wrong voice message where Leo's teammate calls the foxes awesome. The foxes are flattered by it and don't believe the fact that Leo might be planning to betray them. Instead, they tell the fox not to speak up. Back at the academy, Gerda asks the rabbits what happened, and after hearing everything, she tells Max and Emmy to take all the eggs down and paint them on their own for Easter. Max and Emmy then try to activate the power booster for help, but it does not work, so they must now do it by hand. All the rabbits collaborate in order to collect the eggs that have been scattered around. That's when Max asks Emmy how she obtained her master skill. The two converse for a while, until Max suggests that they spy on the foxes who attempted to hunt them in order to learn their tricks. Emmy agrees, and so the two of them sneak into the forest at night to spy on their enemies. The fox who claimed Leo was lying is sleeping outside, which causes him to overhear Max and Emmy's conversation. He awakens because of it and confronts them. The two rabbits get scared and are about to flee when the fox intervenes. He says that he will assist them, but they don't believe him. Just then, the two notice a rabbit's ears peeking through the window. They ask the fox if he's caught a rabbit, but the fox doesn't say anything. Instead, he says he wants to run away with them and promises to explain everything later. As they're planning to run away, the mother fox asks her older son to go check outside because she heard her younger son talking to someone. After a brief conversation, Max, Emmy, and the fox all flee. The fox's brother sees this and follows them, as does the father, but somehow the three outrun them and make it inside the academy just in time. The two academy elders inquire as to what is going on, and that's when Ferdinand, the little fox, explains Leo's plan to them. Hearing the truth in his voice, the rabbits finally accept him, but they're still really terrified of him. The following day, Max and Ferdinand are tasked with repairing the damaged cave. Instead of cooperating, they begin bickering. On the other hand, Mr. Fitz and Madame Hermione are talking while looking through the telescope at the others. Madame Hermione then turns the telescope to a different angle, only to see the forest and the foxes. She even sees Leo there. Meanwhile, Leo asks his teammate if she has fixed the drone or not. The teammate simply replies that she hasn't and that it will take some more time. Seeing as his escape isn't ready, he returns back to the Fox family, who seem to be discussing how their own son has betrayed them. That's when Leo inquires if they have long nails. The mother fox says that they do, and gives Leo a box of nails. Meanwhile, on Mount Chicken, Gerda instructs the rabbits to work faster, and to treat the eggs like their babies. Just then, she loses her balance and falls, revealing Ferdinand. She freaks out, but Ferdinand quickly compliments her, saying that the eggs she lays are the best. Gerda is now complimenting him, and even calls Ferdinand a very clever fox. Max and Ferdinand continue to work on the egg track. At night, the two pull Leo's bike that Max had stolen up the mountain, but just then, they both slip. They somehow manage to hold on, but the bike is now on their backs. They push it as hard as they can, and finally a red light emits from them. They continue pulling the bike, and eventually make it up the mountain. It seems that they are finally getting along. The next day, they even work together, and repair the egg track by using a launcher that launches the eggs onto a red blanket. The elders are taken aback by this. Max then asks the elder master rabbits if he can continue his training, and they readily agree. After that, Max takes Ferdinand to the location of the golden egg and tells him all about it. He even talks about the egg turning black. Just then, something falls out of Ferdinand's shirt. He quickly picks it up and hides it. Max is suspicious because of his behavior, but Ferdinand assures him by saying that it is nothing, and that they should continue their training. Max agrees and starts demonstrating his moves to Ferdinand. Later, Ferdinand starts making his way back to his house, disabling all the traps he has set. Just as he's doing so, a plunger flies into Leo's face. Leo then asks if they have any more of those, since they're now climbing Mount Chicken with the plungers. Emmy soon notices this and rings the bell, asking for assistance. When Ferdinand learns of this, he rushes back to the academy. There, the rabbits are hurling paint bags at the plungers, causing the foxes to slip. Ferdinand finally appears and throws the paint back, but just then, Emmy slips down as well. Leo grabs her leg and so, they all fall down the cliff, only to land on a tree and fall down again. They end up in a heap, and thankfully, Emmy is unharmed. However, the foxes take her hostage and ask the other rabbits about the Easter eggs. They begin blackmailing the elders and ask them all about the eggs if they want Emmy back. Max is furious because of this and is about to pounce on Leo when Madame Hermione intervenes. Because of this, they all return back to the academy and paint eggs. When everyone has left, Max asks Ferdinand where he was, and that's when he notices the basket full of tools. Max misinterprets the situation and begins to blame Ferdinand for everything, claiming that he is the one who planned everything to ruin Easter. Ferdinand tries to explain, but Max refuses to listen. Since no one is ready to listen to him, Ferdinand walks out the gate, saying that Max is just as messed up as his family. Furious, Max returns to where the other rabbits are painting the eggs, but they are no longer as cheerful. He then returns to the forest, regretting what he said. Just then, he overhears Leo talking on the phone about the drone being repaired. Max secretly goes to the fox's house and looks through the window to see Emmy restrained in a chair. He turns around and tries to think of something to free her when suddenly, he is stopped. It's none other than Ferdinand. Just as another fox passes by, he quickly covers Max's mouth. Max feels bad and apologizes to Ferdinand for saying hurtful things to him and for not trusting him. Ferdinand just smiles and forgives him, after which they devise a strategy. Some time later, Ferdinand starts distracting the foxes, while Max sneaks into the house where the mother fox is sleeping. He quietly frees Emmy, and they successfully flee. But when Emmy is planning to attack the foxes, they notice Max and Ferdinand. Just as the foxes are about to attack them, Max and Ferdinand lift a log in front of them. The power booster also activates right then, and the log locks them all in. They somehow manage to escape through the window. All three of them then run away, but Leo notices them. The next day is Easter, and all the rabbits are excited but also anxious. When the gate opens, everyone expects to see Leo and the foxes, but instead they see Ferdinand, Max, and Emmy. All the rabbits jump and celebrate their return. But their joy is short-lived as Leo appears on a drone with the foxes. They all try to save the Easter eggs as the drone starts to lift the large basket. They set up a ladder to get up, but one of the chosen ones named Andy asks them to move it, which they do. Andy finally climbs the ladder on his stick and reaches the top of the drone, where Leo is situated. There, the two tussle in order to get the remote control, but Leo ends up pushing Andy off the railing. Luckily, the others save Andy. Meanwhile, Leo makes his way above the location of the golden egg where he intends to drop and break all of the eggs. The foxes are stunned to hear the new plan. That's when they realize that they have been betrayed. Leo drops the egg basket on top of the glass roof where the golden egg is, but Max, Ferdinand, and Emmy use the power booster to catch it. Everyone is taken aback, including Leo, who drops his drone remote control and phone on the floor. All the rabbits then return to the location of the golden egg, which is now glowing beautifully. They congratulate and praise Max, Emmy, and Ferdinand for their bravery. Max is now a true master rabbit. On the other hand, Leo gets expelled from the academy. Later, Madame Hermione requests that Ferdinand also distribute the eggs, to which he gladly agrees. He has now been made an Easter fox. Because of this, his mother is overjoyed, as her son has finally become an Easter fox. As they're giving out eggs to everyone, Leo gets his bike back. All of the children are delighted, and Easter has successfully been saved.